I'm Nicole Compton, and right now on Deadbeat, we go inside child support court for an uncensored look at what happens when parents don't pay. When the payments run out, so does the luck, as you're about to see. You'll get the judge's perspective.
By the time you get to this court right here, your options are very few, and jail is a real possibility for you.
Hear from the defendants.
I did make payments. They was taking it out of my check.
And those who are fed up about not getting what's due.
He got his, work release back, and I guess, we'll see where it goes.
Real people, real cases, and real justice. I'm Nicole Compton, and court is now in session on Deadbeat. I'm Nicole Compton, and today on Deadbeat, we are looking at child support cases that are inside our local Jefferson County Child Support Court. There are real people in these cases, some who you may even know. Let's look in. I'm joined today by our legal advisor, Oliver Barber. Oliver is here to help us understand, and we'll talk about the cases that you will see coming up today. I enjoy talking to you, Oliver. How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm doing well, thank you.
So the cases that we're going to see are actually criminal cases in child support court here in Jefferson County, Kentucky.
And sometimes, as in the first case, it's going to be difficult to decide who exactly is the defendant.
Oh, wow. See, we have a lot of cases on for today, and it sounds like we're in for a treat.
I think you are.
Our first case up today is that of Michael Lees. This isn't the first time for him in Judge Sean Delahanty's court. And his case has been full of twists and turns, including the murder of his ex-wife.
I doubt that she's going to tell you.
She's dead.
Okay, the mother of the child is
The
dead?
mother
She was
just
murdered
died
Tuesday.
2 days ago. She was murdered.
Tuesday.
According to court records, Mr. Lees had fallen so far behind on his child support payments, he got sent to jail because of it. He got out with the understanding that the bond money would go to his child support. He's back to face the judge now, so let's see what happens.
Hello, Mr. Lees.
How you doing?
All right. This is your new wife, Mr. Lees?
Yeah, I've been married 4 years.
Well, no, but you're.
New enough, yes.
It's the newest.
Yes.
You don't have any other newer than her.
First and only.
All right. Okay, first and only. Anyway, what were you in custody in Hardin County about?
It was,
Incarceration.
yeah, I mean, it was, the allegations involved domestic violence, Judge.
Oh, that's fabulous. He's to obtain a record of direct payments and any other proof he wants to present. Due to the defendant's custody situation last date, the county is going to say that they're not prepared to move to forfeit the bond. All right. Now, your child here is 15, is that right?
Yes, he is.
Okay. Now, and we talked about this before, and there was some, statements that the mother of.
She's deceased.
I know, and she also ran off to South Carolina after you somehow had custody of him, or he was.
I'm still pursuing.
And our position is that during the pay period, Mr. Lees provided the child with more than adequate financial support to cover his child support obligations.
But you don't have any evidence of that.
Well, as part of the reason for the continuance was to gather written evidence.
Well, that's what we passed it the last time. It was my understanding that there was an agreement that the bond would be paid as child support.
If Your Honor's memory is better than mine, I have no recollection of
We
that.
happen
as
to
an
have it
agreement.
on tape from a number
Several
of different
sources,
directions.
I imagine. The ones. Did you agree to? Okay, then that is the agreement.
ROR.
So he's released,
Okay.
but the bond will be.
Bond assigned to child support. All right, let's do this. Sure. Now, ma'am, I need you to stand in front of the podium there. Y'all need to get out of the way and let me have. Are you Mrs. Lees?
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Lees, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to testify truthfully in the course of this hearing?
I do.
All right. And you are now married to Michael Lees?
Yes.
And did you post a bond of $750 for him?
Yes.
All right. And are you agreeing?
More than that.
Really? How much did you post?
Like $775.
All right. Well, you had to cost you $775 as a fee, that $25.
Yes.
The amount is
I
$7.
want to make sure.
Okay. It's going to be accurate with your swearing, right? All right. So, but you agree to allow that bond to be assigned as child support for the benefit of Joshua on Mr. Lee's account?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to release him on his own recognizance. You're going to prepare all your evidence of these receipts and so forth of money that you have given to the mother of the child. Yes?
I have a question, and I have a statement also.
All right.
I'm not for sure if you do know about, the 2012, the obligations that they're saying between, I don't know about their arrearage. I don't have the correct amount from anybody, but from 2012 to 2014, as the grandparent had wrote off on the paperwork, because she is receiving some type of benefit through the state.
Kinship care?
Kinship care is the name of it. Yeah, it's not KTAP. But the mother was actually, he was in the mother's care, Carol too, which I have signed off receipts from her too, because where we would trade him off, because we would have to go save him, because she'd call and say, come get the son.
Right,
So I'd
he
have her
can't have
sign
him.
papers or whatnot, or sign off saying, hey, okay, well, we gave you this money and this or whatnot. She would, she would sign.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. But the far as the grandparents receiving benefits through the state of Kentucky,
When they did not have possession
they
of
did
the
not have
child.
possession of Joshua, and I have all the proof of that.
My rearage shouldn't be as high as what she's saying.
Okay, now,
So I didn't know how to go about taking care of that.
that is not up to you. And
Or
it's
to
sort of,
document it, or what do I need to do?
yep, you need to, if you have, it'd be good for those facts to be known.
Okay.
Particularly if you've got documents where they're, you're agreeing to transfer the child, and
Yeah.
so the child has custody at this time and doesn't have custody at that time, whether it's you, the mother of the child, or the grandparent. It'd kind of be nice to know where the child has lived certainly during the period that Mr. Lees is being accused of not paying his child support.
Yeah.
If we had a real good idea of where the child was every day of that charge period, that would be helpful.
Yeah,
And
I
it's one of
most
these
of it.
things. And if you can do the best you can, that's
Yeah.
all you can do is the best you can. All right, it'd be a good idea, Mr. Lees, for you to stay out of jail. I don't know what it's going to take. But we need to see you back here on the 17th. We'll see you then.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, in the case of Mr. and Mrs. Michael Lees, we don't know who the defendant is in this case, do we?
No, because I think if you look at this case, it's hard to determine who's a defendant, because who spends more time in front of the judge?
Right.
Who spends more time talking to the judge?
Right. Well, I think because she paid the bond money that she feels like she needs to get her point across. And so it was between her and the judge for a while.
She can feel all she wants to, but that isn't going to help the matter in front of this particular court.
Right.
They have it on tape that there's an agreement to pay the $750. The $750 is supposed to go to child support. The best thing she could do is sit down and shut up.
Well, I will say this. I love learning opportunities. So in this one, we talked about bond payments, or being able to pay the bond and let it go to child support. Talk a little bit about what the bond is.
A bond is a situation where the individual is arrested. It comes in front of a judge who arraigned the individual and says, how do you plead? He pleads guilty or not guilty. Generally, they plead not guilty. And the judge says, I'll release you on a $750 bond on condition that you will come back to court.
Right.
If you don't come back to court, then the $750 is forfeited. That's why, in this particular case, what did the judge call this lady? The newer wife.
The newer wife.
The newer
The
wife
newest.
has no standing whatsoever.
Right. She may have paid the bond money. That just means that her money is on the hook until the case is complete, and she needs to ensure that he's there. She really doesn't have a say in this case.
Well, if she had a say, she gave it up because she agreed on the record that this money was going to go to child support. This is a situation where it don't have to be in writing because it's on tape.
It's even better than writing. We have more cases ahead. Next, he was on his way to getting back in line until a mix-up at the jail. Can Judge Erica Lee Williams sort it all out? Find out next on Deadbeat. Nicole Compton back with you again with more Deadbeat. the show that's shining the spotlight on the issue of unpaid child support, and it's much bigger than you may think. In the Louisville area alone, the total of uncollected child support payments totals millions of dollars. Part of that debt is held by this man, John Dunn. He's so far behind, he ended up in jail. He did have the opportunity to get out, to go to work, but that all got fouled up too. Let's listen in as Judge Erica Lee Williams tries to get this case back in line.
Hi, Mr. Dunn.
How you doing, Your Honor?
Good, how are you?
I've been better, but pretty well considering the circumstances.
Your releases were taken away because you weren't making payments?
No, I don't know what, 45 days ago, they brought me back from CCC. They said I missed a bunch of work, and then the investigating officer found out that I didn't miss that work, and he had wrote it in the write-up. I brought it to last court date, but you weren't here. And Jessica Burke said that because I hadn't made payments, she wouldn't give me my releases back. But I only hadn't made payments because they rearrested me.
Okay, because I was like, I cannot believe you were back before me for some mess. You know I don't play with you.
Yes, ma'am. I had a wage assignment set up with my job and everything.
Right.
Like I was on.
Right, I thought
Yes,
we were...
ma'am. And it was just
Okay.
a glitch,
I was gonna be
maybe.
very upset.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so there was some kind of an error.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'm going to give you your releases back,
Yes, ma'am.
and you are going to be making payments.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we've had these discussions before. You know what I expect of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? All right. So I'm not going to jam you up because there was some kind of an issue with your... So they were reporting that you weren't going to work, but you were going to.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, I got this violation and I thought, that can't be right.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it was totally
Okay.
incorrect. Can you also put reduced rent in there as well?
Did I reduce your rent before?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
You had it $5 a day.
I had it at what?
$5 a day.
All right. $5 a day.
And job search and work release?
Yes, Mr. Dunn.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
$5, you're okay. So $5 a day, job search and work release. Now, you still think that you can go back to Malone, though, right?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sure of
Okay.
it.
And how much are you supposed to be paying a week in child support?
$75.
And so you know from this week until we come back for your review, that's what I'm going to be looking at for every single week.
Yes, ma'am.
And you know you cannot miss a week,
Yes, ma'am.
or what's going to happen.
I'm going to sit in jail till May 26th.
That's right. A lot of toothbrushes and flip-flops for you then, right?
That's right.
You don't want that. Job search work release, granted, and $5 rent,
Yes, ma'am.
granted.
Thank you,
Just
Your
as
Honor.
before. All right, very good. I'm glad you haven't done anything you're not supposed to do. All right, we'll see
Yes,
you then.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Well, Oliver, any system that's ran by humans is subject to error. This is an exact case in point where there was an error in the paperwork at the jail that caused him to lose his releases. So mistakes do happen, and unfortunately, who do you turn to? Who do you complain to?
In this case, there are pluses and there are minuses. The minus is that a mistake was made and he gets locked up again when he shouldn't have been locked up.
Right.
The plus is that the jail figured out it was their problem and they took responsibility for it. You got to give them credit for that.
Right, a lot quicker than some of the cases that I've had with my clients, matter of fact.
And the minus is, he looks around and he says, who's to blame for this that I can sue? You can't
Right.
sue anybody because as jailers handling this particular situation, they are an extension of the court.
Right,
And as an extension of the court, they have qualified immunity.
right. Well, hold on. Qualified immunity means?
Means that you can only sue them unless, in those circumstances where they're intentionally attempting to cause him problems.
Right, and that wasn't the case here.
And you can't sue the judge unless you can show that he or she, in this case she, had malice aforethought and you don't have that.
And she didn't, right. So it looks like he's just out of luck. But he's glad to be able to get his releases back so that he can stay in line and get back on track.
And one of the things that's a plus is that the judge recognizes that it's not his fault. And so
Right.
therefore she feels more kindly to him than
Right.
she would anybody else in this situation.
Right. Next, on Deadbeat, a mom goes to jail for not paying child support. Will the judge's words of wisdom be able to help her get back in line? Let's find out next on Deadbeat. Nicole Compton, back with you with more Deadbeat, the show that takes you inside inside local courtrooms where we look at criminal cases and the judges are handing out justice for those who don't pay their child support. This woman, Ebony Smith, fell so far behind that she wound up in court and eventually in jail. Now, she's getting a wake-up call from Judge Sean Delahanty.
Hello, Ms. Smith.
Oh, it's a long story. Do you want to hear it?
Is she in jail on some other charge?
No, she was,
Yeah,
the night before she was supposed to finish her last TIA class, her boyfriend's disgruntled wife called Metro Narcotics to report that there was drugs in the house and blah, blah, blah. And her boyfriend got cited. They arrested her because she was on HIP. I talked to Ms. Honchel.
You can
They
stop
gave
right
her-
there.
Okay, so she's
Stop
done
right
with TIA. She's
Yeah.
made all her payments.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
There's an agreement to shock her.
Yes, sir. And
She actually stayed
are you
home.
employed?
Yes.
Where are you working?
Future Stars on 8th and Broadway.
What are you doing for them?
Clothing store.
Okay. You a saleswoman or?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You get paid by commission?
Mm-hmm.
You don't get an hourly check or anything?
Yeah, I get an hour check. I get $2.44 a week.
Okay. Do you have a wage assignment?
I'm not sure it's the kind of operation that does wage assignments.
That's a very sinister statement there,
I know.
Miss
I'm in a very sinister mood.
I'm not touching that line, Miss Cavendish. Okay, so today you get a 270-day jail sentence that's conditionally discharged for a period of 2 years. Now you need to pay the $65 a week. If
I
you
will.
pay it each and every week, we don't need to see you back here.
Yes, sir.
So we don't need to see you back here unless you want to stop paying your child support.
I'm going to keep paying it every week.
Hang on to the job and everything
I
will be
will.
good.
I
All
will.
right, well, good
Thank
luck
you.
to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Oliver, we see a couple of things here. One, I've always said that it's not just men who get behind on their child support, it's women. So it's equal opportunity. We just happen to see a woman here who has gotten behind on her child support. However, she's completed the TIA program, and we talked many times about the TIA program on the show. She was able to complete her timely weekly payments and be able to get back on track so that she's no longer on house arrest and that she can continue to pay her child support, we hope.
TIA, the Turn It Around program, I think
Yes.
is a classic example of how the courts in this particular venue are working very hard to help the individuals
Right.
that are in front of them. You've got a woman who's first-time offender. She's been on HIP. She's been able to work. She's been able to go to a couple of classes that'll help her get back on her feet. And those things have worked out for her. And I think it's to the credit of everybody.
Right, and the TIA program is just one of the many programs that this county offers to be able to get people back on track. So it's awesome that we have that.
And I think that's the value of what you and I do here in this program, because it shows that there's an attempt by the county, by the judges, by the courts, in order to help people rather than just punish them.
And the kids are the winner in the situation.
Sure.
That's what makes it awesome.
Sure.
Stay tuned. There's more Deadbeat to come. Next, can this man get out of jail and back to work? His kids are counting on it. His case up next when Deadbeat returns. Nicole Compton, back with you on Deadbeat, the show that looks at real cases with real people and the real problem of unpaid child support. There are tens of thousands of parents just in Louisville alone who are behind on their child support payments, including this man, Lewis Harrison. He fell far behind enough that his case became criminal and he became incarcerated. He's working a deal though to get out of jail and get his payments back on track. To court now with Judge Erica Lee Williams presiding.
Mr. Harrison's made his timely weekly payments since the last court date. I think he may be $2 short, if the math was correct. Because of that, the county has no objection to him being furloughed. We picked a date, I want to say it was November 17th to come back. As long as he has no problems and continues to make the payments, he should be okay on that date.
Okay. And so that's $70 a week? You understand what you need to be doing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what the county, I don't know if Mr. Van Treese, if you already saw that they flagged the violations in here?
They did, Judge.
And that's just for easy reference for me. So when we come back, if you have any more of these little red tabs on here, it's not going to go well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? So make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do. Make sure that you are making your payments of $70 a week.
Yes, ma'am.
every week.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? Come back on November 17th. I don't have a problem with the furlough until that time, which means you're going to be out for the 60 days. And we're only doing that because we're under the understanding that you are going to make the payments as you're supposed to.
Yes.
If you don't make those payments when we come back on November 17th, you're not going to go back out that door. You're going to go back through the door you're going through right now, which is back to jail. You understand that?
I have a job at Sam's Club too, so.
Fantastic.
Yes,
At
ma'am.
Sam's Club.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a good job.
That's a good job.
I like that. All right. Sam's Club. So you're going to bring us some bulk items when you come in.
I actually told him to bring some pay receipts with him to help us out.
Absolutely. And so you want to make sure you keep all of that, okay? Just
Yes,
because
ma'am.
we have a record that is kept, but you want to make sure you get any of your receipts and keep a hold of those.
And paycheck
Mr.
stubs.
Van Treese, and your paycheck stubs so we can see what you got going on, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Very good. So we'll see you November 17th at 1.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Fantastic. See you then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Oliver, on the show, we've had a lot of learning moments. And so we talked about releases, we talked about shock, and you've heard other terms that have been thrown out there. Well, now we're talking about furlough. It looks like he's going to be able to get a furlough so that he can not be incarcerated anymore. Can you tell us a little bit about furloughs and how they work?
Make it real simple. It's a get out of jail free card.
Right.
Just like in Monopoly. As a practical matter, he's done everything that he's supposed to do, and so the judge says, go and sin no more.
Right.
And if he does what he's supposed to do in paying his fines and in paying his child support, then he will be released conditionally for a period of time, and he will act like a free citizen.
And this doesn't happen very often, but in this case, we see that it does. And so I think that he's going to get back on track, or he's already gotten back on track. He's going to stay on track, and it's a win-win for everyone.
He has every chance to do that. He's got a good job with a big corporation. He should be able to stay there and take care of his child support.
If you're having trouble collecting from your deadbeat ex, or you just need help getting back in line, not only are we on your television, we're on your computer. Look us up on Facebook. Send us a message, upload a video. We'd love to hear from you and definitely interact with you. For Oliver Barber, I'm Nicole Compton, and this has been another episode of Deadbeat.